What's up, everybody? Ron P from WiseGuyBets coming to you with some value picks from today's NBA slate. Today is 10/29/2021. It's a Friday. We have 7 games on the slate tonight. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide 5 picks at each position: shooting guard, point guard, small forward, power forward, and center. These are values that I could think you can fit into any lineup. May not want to use all 5. You may want to use 2 or 3. You kind of have to be the judge of that on your own. If you're playing cash or if you're playing guaranteed prize pool. Some of the tools that I do use is Fantasy Labs, Draft Dashboard, and Fantasy Pros. So to win at DFS, you got to pay to play. You got to be able to access the information that you need and bring all that information together and pick the best players available. So let's get right into it. At the point guard position, my value play comes from the Sacramento New Orleans game, and it's De'Aaron Fox. He's 8,400 today. Over his last 3 games, he's had 31, 29, and 38 fantasy points. He's going against the 29th worst defense against the point guard position. His projection for tonight is also 42. So he should easily 5x his salary tonight. I like him as one of the core plays tonight in any lineup. De'Aaron Fox should go off tonight. Let's hope that he does. Let's look at the shooting guard position. At the shooting guard position, I'm looking at the Brooklyn, Indiana game. And it's going to be Bruce Brown who I'm looking at. He is back in the rotation, and he is back doing what Bruce Brown does, which is called havoc on the floor, playing defense, getting offensive rebounds, getting defensive rebounds, just doing what he does. Over his last 3 games, he's had 22, 17, and 26 fantasy points. And his minutes have went up. That's really what I like about it. His minutes have really went up. Over the last 3, it's been 27, 30, and 35 minutes. He should see a lot of action tonight against Indiana. The game should be fast-paced, which is perfect for Bruce Brown. And he's only $3,800 on DraftKings. His projection for tonight is 24 fantasy points. I think he gets there. And for $3,800, I got to put him in my lineup. I can put him in and put him with a few studs, and, hey, we can make things work with our lineup. So Bruce Brown is going into my lineup as the shooting guard tonight. Let's look at the value play from the small forward position. And for that, I'm going to the Toronto-Orlando game. And the person I'm looking at is Gary Trent Jr., who has also seemed to have found his role with Toronto. He has been coming off the bench, but he gets his minutes. So let's look at his last 3 games. Over his last 3 games, he's had 21, 27. In his last game, he had 30 fantasy points. His minutes are 36, 36, and 35. So we can look at Gary Trent Jr. getting over 35 minutes this game. Again, he seemed to have found his role. He is only 5,000 tonight. I think he 5x is that salary. His projection for tonight is 25. So that's definitely someone I want to try to get into my lineup, at least one of my lineups tonight at the small forward position. I think he provides great value, and I think he has a lot of upside against a Orlando team who's 30th against the small forward position. So Gary Trent Jr. is someone I want to try to get into my lineup tonight. Let's look at the power forward position. And at power forward, going back to that Orlando-Toronto game, but I'm going on the other end of this, and I'm going with Orlando's Wendell Carter Jr. Over his last 3 games, He's had 33, 23, and 39.5 in his last game, off a $5,700 salary. His salary did go up $200 for this game, but I think he's a great value. Toronto is 27th against the point guard against the power forward position. So he does have a favorable matchup tonight. And again, this is another player getting minutes in his last three: 31, 28, 33. That should not change tonight. Wendell Carter Jr. is someone I would like to get into my lineup tonight at the power forward position. His projection for tonight is 32 fantasy points. So, hey, Wendell Carter Jr. can easily 5x his salary tonight. Now let's look at the center position. This is the one I'm least confident in. I'm going to the Indiana-Brooklyn game, and my choice is going to be Miles Turner. I think he has a good matchup tonight against Brooklyn. LaMarcus Aldridge. The pace is going to be a little quick. He's real big. He's a very tall man, and I think he's going to really affect Brooklyn on the defensive end. The thing I worry about Miles Turner is the minutes. His last three, he's had 16, 14, and 22 minutes. His last three fantasy point-wise been 11.5, 13, and 24 points. You saw he had a 64 down here against Washington, but a lot of people were out for Indiana that game. So I do worry about his minutes. I haven't really watched him play this year, but I still think he's good in this position for $5,400. His projection on the night is 28. So that's a pretty good. If he reaches projection on 5,400, I'll take that. But I do worry about his minutes. I think his minutes will, be more around the 22 for this game. At least that's what I'm hoping for. But if there's one player you want to leave out, I think Miles Turner is the one I would leave out of my lineup. But I will have him in some of my lineups because I do like the upside for him tonight. So, hey, these are my value picks at each position: point guards, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, and center. You can take these guys, put them with some studs, and build a good lineup. Or as I said earlier, you can take a few of these guys, not all of them, and build them around some studs and create some great lineups. Again, I use Fantasy Labs to build my lineups, help with my projections. I use Fantasy Pros for a lot of the information I have to get against about other teams' defenses and to help me determine my value plays for the night. So those are my picks for today. If my picks help you, go ahead and hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Until the next video, peace.